Call the regular monthly meeting of the Town Council for the Town of Westville to order. First thing I want to do, and I hope you can all join us in doing this, is we've had a pretty tragic week, as most of you, certainly majority of the people in this room know, with the loss of several firefighters, a couple in our area, and particularly the one that's been in the news the most, of course, is the young firefighter, 40-year-old in Bridgetown who died while engaged in fighting a fire. So I want you notice when you came in, I hope that we've lowered our flags to half-mast in respect and remembrance of all these firefighters who have passed in the past week, but particularly Alex, whose last name I will not try to pronounce because I would butcher it probably, but the name of, in remembrance of Alex in particular, who lost his life fighting that fire in Bridgetown. So if you'd all join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Going to begin the meeting, as they always do, with the acknowledgement that we are located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. We recognize that without action, acknowledgement is simply hollow and empty, and we are continually learning more about the Mi'kmaq in our community, and particularly in Pictou Landing, and engaging with them with their move towards truth and reconciliation. And we know that this is the beginning of the work and not the end. Also want to acknowledge the contributions, histories, and legacies of the African Nova Scotia people who've been here for over 400 years. Roll call. Looking at the table, I see all council is represented, as well as recording secretary Reed. So everyone is here who needs to be here. Are there any conflict of interest to be had at this time? Just a reminder that to council that we asked for it at the beginning of the meeting, but at any time during the meeting, if something does arise that you weren't expecting or didn't think about, you can declare it a conflict of interest at any moment, at any time during the meeting. Before I get into the additions and deletions and approval, I just want to say, wonderful to see so many people here. I mean, this is fantastic. I can speak on behalf of council and say that we'd welcome you all here every monthly meeting. I see some regulars that are here every month, and we appreciate them coming, but we do appreciate people coming out and engaging with us and making your presence known and finding out what's going on in town that you can get during some of our meetings, in particular, council meetings, planning advisory. I'd highly recommend you put it on your calendar and plan to join the Planning Advisory Committee. Oh, that didn't come out the way I was thinking it, but anyway, you know what I mean. So moving on, having said that, to the additions, deletions, and approval of the tentative agenda. I do have one addition to add, council, and that's, we'll make it number 9D, I think. And that's the approval of the appointment of our new CAO. We'll put that under 9D. With that?
I'll move to approve the agenda and with the addition.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question? Question is called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried.
I wonder if it's on the board that can be turned down. I don't know.
Christian?
I think it's just the speakers themselves. That's the loudest that I heard it.
Yeah.
I'll remind everyone, while we're doing that, just remind everyone that we do broadcast our meetings on YouTube as well, Town of Westville YouTube site page. So I say that for future reference. You can always tune in and watch the meeting if you're not here. And also just to remind everyone that it's all being recorded on YouTube. So enough said. The approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 27th.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the minutes.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Moving on then to committee reports. General government, first one being my report. I did get a written report off to Christian, which he kindly printed off today, so it's in your package. I'm just going to have a quick look at it, think if there's anything that I missed or wanted to comment on. I don't think there is. I think I'll let the report stand for itself. It was a busy month again, and I think of several things of note happened during the month and are in the process of happening. Right next door, of course, the first homes are arriving on the 10-unit development on Drummond Road that most people have seen. I had the opportunity to sign the development agreement for Union Street, which is a 16-unit condo development that's happening down there. And the activity continues with regard to inquiries and interest from developers on doing things in this town of Westville. And this is an exciting time because of that, and it shows great promise for the future. The pop-up businesses are up and running now as well. Very quick comment on that, because I know I don't look a lot on social media, but I do watch a few things, and I know there's several. I just want to clear up a misunderstanding, if that. Comments to the regard of the pop-up businesses and the cost that it, costing the town. The pop-up businesses are there as a result of a grant that we received through ACOA, through the federal government that we applied for and were successful in getting. And that's where the funding came to create those pop-up businesses that are there. That did not come out of town funds. Just wanted to say that. Yeah, the rest is there for people to see. Moving on then to Deputy Mayor McGregor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Generally, it was a regular month overall. The last week or so, the call volume, email volume, driveway visits a little higher than in the past, but always welcome. I'll make the report brief, though. There is a couple of highlights I would like to make. Construction Engineers Flight 144. We don't have any community projects in Westville, and this Thursday will be the last meeting of that advisory committee that all towns have a representative on. The Glenhaven Manor strike notice was served. They will be going on strike on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And just some updates on that. That the union gave the notice. The essential services agreement is in place. And the contingency plans are already in place for everything that needs to happen in that space. So the highlights are at this time, the home is open and operational. It will be. Resident care continues the same, and visitation guidelines continue to remain in place as is. And if there is any specific questions, I can go directly to the site manager at Glenhaven for more information. So that was just live this morning. Wasn't originally part of my update, but being on the board and as an owner, it's appropriate to give that as an update in the report. Also attended the day of mourning ceremony for injured and killed workers in Trenton, as well as the police commission, and as well as the numerous CAO interviews that we've had over the last 2 months. So with that, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor McKinnon.
All right, good evening, folks. I attended all of our committee meetings, our budget meeting, CAO interviews on the SAC committee at NRHS. They're working on planning for prom and graduation. This is their first time going to the DeCoste Center, so that's something new. And they have some exciting news there where they've just gotten a new amazing greenhouse put into place, which is just going to be phenomenal for the students there. Walter Duggan is busy planning the end of the year activities and is chair of the police commission. I still have no major updates at this time. Westville Fire Department meeting is coming up for me this Wednesday, and that is my report for this month.
Thank you very much. Councillor Dunn.
Good evening, everybody. I also attended all the same meetings that everybody else did. I attended the NSFM conference, Police Commission, Accessibility. I also attended a presentation put on at the Stellarton Fire Hall, put on by the town of Stellarton with the IESO, Independent Energy System Operator, on the new what are they called? What is it? The peaker plants. The peaker plants that they're doing out in Marshdale, or talking about doing out in Marshdale and Salt Springs. And that's everything for me, thanks.
Thank you very much. Councillor Fraser.
Good evening, everybody. I also attended all meetings except for those where I previously sent my regrets, like Committee of the Whole. I also attended the IESO Power Plan, and I know that's a hot topic for a lot of people right now, so there is a lot of information that we're trying to gather so that we can pass it on to the citizens. And I also attended the NSFM Spring Conference. That concludes my official monthly report. And Mr. Chair, with your permission, on a point of personal privilege, I'd like to make a brief statement regarding issues that have arisen from this month's budget deliberations.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to speak directly to the residents here tonight, those watching online, and my fellow council members. I always welcome healthy debate regarding how we spend town funds. Active public engagement is a vital part of our local democracy. However, over the past week, public discussions surrounding the town's firework budget have crossed a dangerous line into personal harassment, intimidation, and unfounded accusations directed at myself and my family. Much of this hostility stems from widespread misinformation regarding the Canada Day budget. To ground our dialogue in facts, the $15,000 private donation came directly to the town first. The line item is explicitly listed as Canada Day celebrations. It does not say and has never been exclusively earmarked for fireworks. The fireworks are 100% funded, and the town's contribution was never in jeopardy. My stance remains firm. Doubling this budget with an additional $12,000 of taxpayer money at a time when our residents face massive inflation and struggle to afford basic needs is fundamentally out of touch with our economic reality. We can absolutely disagree on financial policies and numbers without destroying the mutual respect of our community. As elected officials, we are here to serve you, but no one should have to tolerate threats to personal safety for doing this job. I ask that we move forward with a focus on constructive, respectful dialogue. I remain fully committed to working transparently for all residents of Westville. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I know CAO Weirs is virtually there. I see him. CAO Weirs, do you have any comments that you'd like to make? Report?
In terms of report, Mr. Mayor, continue to work on both the water source issue and reach out to a number of developers over the last month to pursue development opportunities for the town. And I think I'll just leave it there.
Thank you very much. I can attest to that. Although CAO Weirs is not here physically in town anymore, he's been continuing to work on behalf of the town of Westville for the last couple of months from afar. I guess, Scott, we probably communicate most days, if not every day, on some matter. And I know that he's been greatly involved in continuing to move things forward for the town on those files that are of top priority to us, and the water being one of the major ones, obviously, and some of the developers that we've been dealing with on a major sort of matters for the town. So thank you for that. Before we move on, I just wanted to comment on Councillor Fraser's comments. I think the underlining one to me is I deal with a lot of colleagues around the province in municipal government, other mayors and wardens and councillors. I've been a member of the NSFM board for a number of years, and the amount of anger, if I can use that word, and hostility and rage being directed towards municipal elected people in this province is getting out of control. It's a really serious matter. And how we're going to get people to sit around tables such as this in the future is sort of a concern of mine. I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I've been around a long time, and I don't react to some of the negativity, but I haven't had it to the degree that some people have. I mean, some people in municipal politics, if you can believe it, in this province, have been threatened with their lives, threatened that their houses were going to be burned down, threatened that their families were going to be ill-used. all because they took a stand on a matter, a particular stand on a matter in their community. That, in my mind, is unacceptable, uncalled for. We live in a democracy. We welcome, as I said in the very beginning, and I mean it sincerely, we welcome citizen engagement. We encourage it. We want you to come. We need your help. We need your information. We need your input. But, there's a fine line that I hope this community, which is a tremendous community with great community spirit, we just need to pull together and work for the same cause. And I firmly believe that everybody seated up here wants the best for this town, or we wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't put in the hours that we do. We're human. We're human. And we make mistakes. And sometimes I say the wrong thing. I admit that freely. But it's always meant with the right purpose, and that is to move Westville forward. And that's what this group up here is trying to do. And it's unfortunate. We've got some great news coming in this meeting, and I'm glad you're all here, because we've got some great news for everybody in this town before this meeting is over. And that's what I like to dwell on. I like to dwell on the positive things that are happening. I guess I've always been a half full glass kind of guy. I'm optimistic. I still am, by the way. I'm still totally optimistic about the future of this town and what's going to come in generations to come as a result of some of the things that this council's been doing, and the previous council, to that matter, previous couple councils, in fact, started the momentum going, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue well after we're gone, certainly well after I'm gone, I can assure you. But I'm optimistic, and I think if I want to say anything, I want to say, let's look at the assets that we have in this town. Let's look at the people that we have in this town, the things that they do for this town, the positive things that we got coming down the road as a town in Westville. I just had the opportunity to attend the Premier's State of the Province address this morning, and as he was talking, I drew so many similarities to the situation here in Westville to the province in general. That for a long time we were, we weren't moving forward. We were struggling. We were, not too much was happening development-wise and so on. And I can tell you, the last couple councils dug their heels in, and our CAO, Scott Weirs, as well, moved that needle so far in a short period of time. And so we're turning the corner. Things are, the province as a whole, and forget your politics. I'm apolitical, by the way. The Premier knows that, but I support him wholeheartedly in everything that he's been doing in this province, moving us forward and being proactive. And I hope that we can get that mentality going back here in Westville, that we pull together, we work towards a common goal, and we just want to make life better for all our residents, and particularly our future residents and our kids and our grandkids. I mean, that's why we're here. That's what we want to do. I don't want to get on my soapbox too much, but Danielle's comments basically awoken me to that fact that it is true. And I'll say this as well. Everybody, as a counselor, and I think some of you will remember, I encouraged the new counselors in particular, speak up on matters, have an opinion, and I respect every opinion that comes from council, as I hope they respect mine. That we all have opinions. There will be differences. There's not always going to be unanimity and consensus on everything, and I will fight to the end of my days to support that voice from any councillor on this table. If they have an opinion, they have every right to express that opinion on any matter that comes before the town. But what they don't deserve is personal comments, threats, anything of that nature, or anger. Don't deserve that. And so I just wanted to say that, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. And I think Councillor Fraser knows that I didn't agree with what her comments were. But I respect them. And I respect her right to say them and to put those forward. In fact, it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to take a position on a matter where you know probably there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to like what I'm going to say and going to be opposed to this, but still have the conviction of your thoughts and your commitment to say them. I respect that greatly. So enough said. I said more than I should have probably. Often the case, by the way. You happen to attend very often. Moving on. No, you cannot. Sorry. You'll have an opportunity. So just thank you for doing that. That reminds me, we do have a procedure at this council where we allow citizens engagement. But it's at the end of it's on the agenda. In fact, it's the last item on the agenda. We are one of the very few councils in this province that still do that, by the way, and some are restricting it more so or doing away with it altogether, those that have been doing it. So we will allow those comments. We will allow questions. We will allow comments at the end when we get to that section of the agenda. But during the course of the business of the council, I will not accept or tolerate any questions or comments from the gallery. It's just decorum. It's the way it should work. And I appreciate your support in doing that. We're moving on then to Protective Services, the Police Department and Fire Department reports attached.
I'll move to approve the Police Department and Fire Department under Protective Services.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Recreation, Culture, Leisure Services, the coordinator's report attached.
I'll move to approve the Recreation, Culture, and Leisure Services report as attached.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. I encourage people to look at those reports, by the way, when you get an opportunity. It'll tell you what's going on in this town. A lot of positive things, as I already said, and they're highlighted in most of these reports. The Transportation Environmental Health Services, which includes water report, public works report, and solid waste report, and environmental development. Sorry. I take that back. The three.
I'll make a motion to approve the reports from the Transportation and Environmental Health Services.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. The environmental development, then the fire inspection report.
I'll move to approve the fire inspection report as attached.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Moving on then to correspondence, we had unfortunately, we have a letter of resignation from Maxine Mann indicating resigning from the Planning Advisory Committee as of June 17th. And council appoints citizens to these committees, and so it's appropriate that council deals with the letter of resignation as well by motion. I would entertain a motion with regard to Maxine's letter.
I'll move to accept the resignation of Maxine Mann, letter dated, I don't have the date on there, sorry, as circulated.
Moved and seconded. You ready for the question?
Questions?
Questions called. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. I want to thank, on behalf of Council and Planning Advisory Committee, Maxine for stepping forward. She's a wealth of knowledge that if some of you know Maxine or haven't had the opportunity to, she brings a lot to this community, and she stepped forward. But unfortunately, she just found it difficult to continue in that capacity. I'm sure we'll call on her for other things. So what that means is there's an opening, there will be a citizen appointee opening on Planning Advisory, so we'll be advertising for that, looking for someone to assume that position on Planning Advisory, a very important committee of the town. It's made up of all members of council, plus four citizens appointees now. We've increased it to 4. And like I said, very important, particularly with all the activity going on in town now. We also had a letter indicating a letter of resignation from Ken Langell as chair of the Pictou County Sports Hall of Fame. And we don't need to act on that. That's a matter for the Hall of Fame itself, but just for information purposes. So moving on then to some important matters. the review of the 2026-27 general operating and capital budget. It's been circulated, I know, with council has spent a lot of time looking at the budget, developing the budget, and I think we'll need a motion on both the general operating and the capital, and I would entertain those motions now.
We also have a resolution, Your Worship.
Yes.
Okay.
If we can find it in our packet.
I have it here.
You have it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deputy.
It's a lot of reading.
It is.
Did you want to maybe preface it with the explanation of the tax rate before I read it?
Well, I can announce, I was kind of being, I wanted to build the momentum, you know, the enthusiasm and have a drum roll and all the rest of it, but we've been listening, council has been listening to residents, and we've had an increase in our assessment roll, which obviously translates in a little more revenue for us from residential taxation in particular, and we've chosen to move on that as a council, and it's reflected in the budget. So our current, as you know, residential rate has been 213 for the last couple of years. We are, through this budget that the Deputy Mayor is going to read the resolution on in a moment, through this budget, we are going to be reducing the tax rate to 199 per 100. So we're going to 199. Here's the sort of the supplement to that. We are instituting we're taking out the fire protection, what's in our budget for fire protection, and we're going to be billing that separately. So there will be a fire protection levy of 0.118,
118.
118, sorry.
118,
11.8 cents.
11.8 cents. So the reason we're doing that, by the way, is simply to create a level playing field. For too long, far too long, we've been accused in Westville of having an exorbitantly high residential tax rate. Not going to say we don't, because we do. But other towns have equally high tax rates. It's just that they don't show them the way that we've shown it all the time. We had an inclusive tax rate at 213, which includes everything. We are trying to change that up a little bit and create a more level playing field comparison-wise between the other towns in Pictou County, for example, in particular, by going to a 199, as I said, residential tax rate, and levying a separate fire protection fee based on the levy, as we said, of just under 12 cents.
Can you clarify that number? Was it 0 point?
Yeah, no, it's 0 point, it's like 12 cents. It's 0.118.
Per $100.
Correct. It represents the same amount that's in our budget for fire protection. We're not taking it out of our budget. We're not going to do it. We're just showing it separately as a separate fee, which other towns do. For example, just in case you wonder, Pictou has a residential tax rate of $1.69. That's what they advertise, right? So they're saying that, so they've been saying all along, rightly so, our residential tax rate is $1.69. Westville's is $2.13. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to pay taxes? But here's the other thing. They also have a sewer charge of $286.03 that comes separately. They have well, that's the operating one. An operating portion for their sewer collection and treatment is $286. The capital on the sewer treatment is $89.70. Their hydrant, they charge a separate hydrant fee at 0.156 of your assessment. They have a curbside collection fee of $181.13. They have a recycling fee of $61.09. All those things are separate, but all people here, their tax rate in Pictou is $1.69.
Yep.
Westville's is $2.13. We're going to try to level that playing field. And I'm not saying anything negative about Pictou. I'm not calling them out on that. I'm just stating the hard, cold facts, that this is what happens. And we want to be on the same level playing field. New Glasgow does the same thing. They have a separate charge. Their rate is $188, but they have a solid waste charge of $183 that goes along with those billings. Trenton, similarly, they have a fire protection charge, as we're going to be instituting, same idea. They have a solid waste fee that they bill separately from their tax rate, and their tax rate is now $204. So the other thing I will say about that will be reflected when we get to this and to our commercial rate. The commercial rate will be $383. Which, by the way, is the lowest commercial rate of any town in Pictou County. So, businesses out there, developers, come and see us. We're open for business. $383, the lowest commercial tax rate you're going to pay in any town in Pictou County, Westville. So those are sort of the highlights and the logic behind it. I mean, we could have taken out a bunch of other things as well and shown them separately, but we're quite happy with that. In effect, to be perfectly transparent, when you add it up, we've reduced the tax rate by 2 cents
Per 100,
per hundred.
which is almost 4%.
Right. 2 cents per hundred.
I'd still like it broken down even more so everybody can see what they're paying
Right.
for. Yeah.
But it is a change, and
It is, yeah.
it's changed to reflect, like I said, to get us on a level field with everyone else around us. Everybody else does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Pack a lunch for this one. Whereas the town of Westville is required to prepare and approve an annual operating and capital budget for the town, and whereas the town council of Westville has received and discussed a proposed operating and capital budget and has determined there will be no change in the tax rates, therefore be it resolved that the estimated expenditure of the town of Westville for the period of April 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027 be approved and adopted in the amount of $6,857,592, and after making allowance for estimated revenue in the amount of $2,157,695, the amount of $4,699,897 is required from the general taxation of the assessed valuation of $224,659,000. So next is residential rate, $1.99 per 100. Therefore be it resolved that council authorizes the levying and collection of a tax rate for the current year of $1.99 per 100 of assessment for residential and resource property. That rate hereinafter called the residential rate. Commercial rate, $3.83. I'm tangled up in a cord, so I apologize. Per 100, be it further resolved, the council authorizes the levying and collection of a rate from the current year of $3.83 per 100 of assessment for commercial property. That rate hereinafter referred to as the commercial rate. Fire protection rate of 0.118 cents per $100. Be it further resolved, the council authorizes the levying and collection of a rate for the current year of 11.8 cents per $100 of assessment for all properties. That rate being herein referred to as the fire protection rate. Water rate, $1.17 a cubic meter of water consumed. Be it further resolved, the council authorizes the levying and collection of a rate for the current year of $1.17 per cubic meter of water consumed. That rate herein referred to as the wastewater rate. And be it further resolved that the payments of rates and taxes set down for 26-27 as accepted and approved by council shall be required to be made to the treasurer on or before the 31st day of October 2026, and the interest rate of 1.17 per month, an additional charge at the rate of 1.17% shall be and is hereby imposed for the non-payment of such rates and taxes by the 29th of May 2026 on all interim bills, and at the same rate for non-payment of such rates and taxes by the 31st day of October 2026 on the final billing, and such interest to be added monthly after the due dates above. So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
Question is called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried unanimously. For the benefit of a number of people here, just want to say that with that motion, the money allocated to Canada Day from the town of Westville has been approved. It's in the budget. It's a line item in the budget, and as Councillor Fraser said, the line item says Canada Day. So that money has been approved, and will be going to the department, the fire department, who organizes and runs the greatest Canada Day celebration anywhere in this country, I believe. So, yeah, I just wanted to make that point. Moving on then to the water utility operating and capital budgets for 26-27.
I'll move that as well since I have it in front of me. So whereas the town of Westville is required to prepare and approve an annual operating and capital budget for the water utility, and whereas the town council of Westville has received and discussed a proposed water utility operating and capital budget, therefore be it resolved that Westville Town Council approve the water utility operating budget for 2026-2027 with proposed revenues of $1,233,983 and proposed expenses of $1,514,064 with a budget deficit of $280,825 to be funded through a combination of debt accumulation, water utility surplus, and future water rate increases. So moved.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
Question's called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And, to be noted that we are forecasting a deficit in the water utility budget, and largely as a result of an increase in the cost of the water that we will be purchasing from the town of New Glasgow. They had a rate study done recently, and the rates were increased rather substantially for us as a customer, their largest customer, and it would have to be reflected in our budget. And so we will be undertaking a water study as well and review in the next short time because we need to look at our rates as well and have those adjusted accordingly.
I think it's important to point out that that process governed strictly by the review board as well.
Right. Correct. Whatever that review board is called these
Yeah,
days.
that
It
wasn't
used to
what
be.
it was UARB,
Yeah,
and they changed.
I don't know. But in any event, there will be a review done on that, and moving forward, we will adjust that. And we continue, for the benefit of those here, speaking of water, we continue our search for another reliable, sustainable source of water. Once again, I'll go back to my comments that I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic that we're going to be successful in obtaining and securing water for the town to move forward. It's absolutely essential to all the things that we have going on in town and all the things about to happen in town, that we have a good source of water. And so that's priority number one. It should be priority number one for this council in the next year for sure, if not 2 years, to move that forward, and we'll do that. Okay. Pop-up business, pop-up market buskers. Perhaps, CA Wares, you can chime in on that one a little bit if you can.
Yeah, the idea there is to, as many in the town will likely know, Westfield has a vendors and busking bylaw that requires buskers or vendors to register and pay a small fee for the right or privilege of busking or vending in Westville. And since and that predates the arrival of the pop-up market, and with the arrival of the pop-up market, one of the things that we're looking for is to animate more people onto the main street And so what we're proposing is to allow buskers in that area to attend. They still like them to register, but waiving the fee so that they can come and in that gazebo that's there can provide music on, Thursday nights or Tuesday nights or Saturday afternoons or whatever. So that's the concept, to bring a little more animation, a little more activity to the main street of Westville.
Thank you very much. I think we have a resolution. Do we?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
So can I ask a question on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we do this, what about, like, if they get hurt or something like that on our property, like, how is that covered? If there's, do you know what I mean? Like, is that,
There will still be a contract that they sign,
okay,
similar to what the vendors
okay,
sign.
no, just wanna make
waiving
sure.
the- Yeah.
For the buskers, you're talking?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay.
It,
Sorry.
it highlights a point with that policy that we developed last council as well, and I think it's important to note that there is an application process, and I believe if they're not, that the pop-up markets, the bylaw does predate the existence of them, and they seem to operate outside of that because of the way that they came forward through Creative Pictou County or whomever was involved with that. But I think it's important that we have to make sure that everybody that's utilizing that facility down there is in line with our policy and that they have the appropriate permits, and it does, it does require insurance as well in certain situations. So, I think if anything, I would task perhaps to go back to staff and have staff prepare another report to demonstrate, how everybody can comply with the spirit and the intent of the existing policy and protect, our liability. And I don't oppose buskers because we created the bylaw, but it has to, operate within conformance to that. And, we want to talk about the waiving the fees later. It's really insignificant, but I think there's more to unpackage there than just saying go ahead.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, Counselor.
CO Weirs, anything on that?
Yeah, we can prepare that.
Okay,
Perfect.
done. It's on the list to be done. Good point. Thank you very much for that. So moving on then to number 9D, CAO appointment. As most people are aware, we've been undertaking looking for a new CAO for some time now in town, and we've conducted interviews as a council and narrowed it down to a few and had additional interviews and made a decision, made an offer to the individual that we selected, and that offer was accepted. And actually, I have the signed copy here today, just signed today. And the individual will be able to start in that position on June the 16th, which isn't that far away. Once again, CAO Weirs is still our CAO and has been continuing and will continue up until that time, he has told me. He isn't going to abandon us, and we appreciate that greatly. So we do have to formally confirm the appointment, and I think there's a resolution here.
There is, yep.
Councillor Dunn, if you want to read that, go ahead.
Sure. Resolution regarding appointment of Chief Administrative Officer. Whereas Westville Town Council has the authority under the Municipal Government Act to appoint qualified persons as Chief Administrative Officer. And whereas Chris McNeil has the appropriate training, skills, and experience to serve as a Chief Administrative Officer. And whereas Mr. McNeil has been interviewed by Town Council and has indicated a willingness to serve in the capacity of Chief Administrative Officer for the town of Westville, there it be resolved that the Town Council appoints Chris McNeil to the position of Chief Administrative Officer effective June 16th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that we confirm the appointment of Chris McNeil as our new CAO. You ready for the question?
Question?
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion's carried. I'm not going to get into a long biography of Chris McNeil, who he is, but that will be coming out. We'll get something up on our website and Facebook, sort of to inform citizens who he is. I can say very quickly, a very quick thumbnail sketch. He is currently serving, has been serving for some time as the chair of the Veterans Review and two words, and it's escaping me. Policy and Appeal Board, sorry. Review and Appeal Board. In that capacity for some time. Previous to that, he's had experience he was a police officer in a former lifetime, as I like to say. Was a deputy chief in HRM, served as a deputy CAO in HRM as well. Comes with a wealth of experience. We're extremely excited to see Chris accept this offer from us, and we are looking forward to him being able to continue the fine work of our currently previous CAO, Scott Weirs, and we're looking forward to that working relationship, and I'm sure that most of you will get a chance to meet Chris in the very near future. He's excited to come here, and has some great visions for the town. I know he's quite aware of some of the things we've been trying to do here, and I think that it bodes well for our future in the next number of years here in town to have a person of Chris's stature come, and he's well connected, with lots of knowledge, and we're gonna use every ounce and bit of his abilities to the max when he gets here. I can assure you. And another very quick aside. I travel around the province a little bit, and today was an example. And I don't know if people understand or realize, and I wore my tag. Who I was and where I was from. And those people that I didn't know, and I know a lot of them already, but commenting on, whether it's whether it's smoke and mirrors or what it is we're doing, the message is getting out, and it's getting out beyond the town. It's getting out beyond Pictou County. It's getting out. Westville, things are happening in Westville. Things are happening in Westville of a positive nature, and I have people come up and comment on it and say, hey, great to see, what's going on there. And I just, I want to share that with you all, because you all play a part in that. You all are going to benefit from all of that good news. So Westville has a great reputation around the province. We certainly talk about Canada Day a little bit on those conversations, and invited them all to come and participate again in Canada Day this year. So with that, we're down to number 10. I'm going to, before we get to public engagement session, I just want to, we do have a policy with regard to public engagement. It's strictly to maintain decorum and respect. And I know that it's listed on the podium what those rules are, if I can call them rules. But, it boils down to this. We allow people to come forward with questions or comments. We ask you we limit it to one time. We ask you to be, no more than 5 minutes. That's a long time, but that's what our policy says. And you direct questions. First of all, you say who you are, your address, where you live, and you direct your questions to me as the chair. If there's questions or comments that I think a councillor can appropriately answer better or has more knowledge on, I'll defer to them. I'll try to answer your questions. If I don't know, I will say so, and we'll take it under advisement. Those are the basic rules, I think, that are important to remember. The other thing I'm going to say, however, that's not in these rules, is I just mentioned, and this council just had a motion to accept the budget for this year, which includes, as I mentioned, I'll say it again, which includes $12,000, a line item for Canada Day celebrations in town, the contribution from the town towards the Canada Day celebrations. So, to me, that's the end of the story. It's done. So, if you have comments, anybody, or questions of anything other than related to that particular matter, I will entertain them. There is no point in belaboring discussion on things that we've already decided upon, in my opinion. we made that decision. And so with those parameters, I welcome your engagement.
Kenny Dunn, 2133 Elmwood Street, Westville. Fire Chief for the town of Westville. Here to clear up a little bit of our budget, just so that everybody's completely clear on it. Is that suitable? Turn it on, we find the button. It is on. There's a comment floating around online that was a little bit misleading.
Chief Dunn, I would appreciate you respecting my comments with regard to rehashing something that's already done and been decided upon. I see no point in it. I see nothing to be gained by it. Nothing.
So you don't want, I can't go over my budget?
You can speak to the budget, absolutely.
Fire department receives $403,257 budget. A lot of people are asked over the years, why do you still raise money? Because you get that much money. I'm going to give you a little breakdown of it. $246,557 goes to the water utility. That's for hydrant maintenance and repairs, keeps them cleaned out, keeps them working, flushed. So that's right off the top of the budget. $53,000 goes to firefighter honorariums. Out of that, $2,000 goes to workers' compensation. The fire department has 28 members. We responded to 168 calls for service in 2025. So on average, it's about $11.69. That honorarium is there to help pay for fuel, room clothes, anything else that you may come across. Some calls may be 5 minutes, some may be 6 hours. $26,000 is allotted in the fire equipment. It costs $4,900 to outfit a firefighter. That's helmet, gloves, boots, flash hood, and turnout gear. It has a 10-year life expectancy, and then it needs to be replaced. So in order to do that, we have to buy 3 sets a year. This keeps this cost spread out and manageable. We also purchased 1 air pack or 1 breathing apparatus. $14,000. If anyone's keeping score, that one's empty already. We still haven't covered our nozzles, our hoses, our jaws, or any other equipment that is required. That's where our fundraising, donations, and provincial grants all come into play. My colleague will have a few more on that thing. Firefighting equipment, maintenance, and repair, $7,000. Our bunker gear needs to be cleaned and inspected every year. It's $3,400. Air pack inspections and flow testing, which have to be done every year, is $3,500. So that pretty much takes care of that one. Truck repair and maintenance. The department has 4 trucks, 2 pumpers, 1 auxiliary, and 1 rescue. Costs a total of $1,600 a year for motor vehicle inspections and oil changes on all them 4 vehicles. The pump service and flow test, which is required each year, is another $1,500 on average if they don't find anything wrong with the 2 pumps. $3,500 for radios. That covers our dispatch and licensing fees because we have to have our licensed radios through Radio Canada, I believe it is. Our radios, the radio repeater, and the tower, that all comes from fundraising and grants. $4,000 fleet, that's our budget for fuel, at $2 a liter. Doesn't take long. The other line item is $500 for advertising. That covers a fire prevention ad for the fall. Anything for fundraising is all paid by the department. $3,000 firefighter convention covers the cost for the chief and the deputy chief to go to a conference to keep up on yearly trends and changes and see if we can get a buy on some equipment. $6,000 goes to the fire inspection, training, and expenses. That's for our town fire inspector to do public buildings, churches, stuff like that. We pay $30,000 insurance out of that budget, $700 for a telephone, $500 for miscellaneous fire protection, $2,500 for firefighter training. With that, all members for the Westville Fire Department are required to be level 1 certified within 2 years of joining the department. So that covers that, plus the cost to take pump operator courses, JAWS training, first aid, medical first response, and any other specialized stuff that we do. $1,200 goes to the Canada Day celebrations. Just to put that into a little bit of perspective, in 1995, the town sold a surplus truck that we had. Council at the time decided that that money would go back to the department for Canada Day. So in 31 years, that's gone up $2,000. Put it in a little bit of a perspective. In 1995, a $10,000 fireworks budget would have given you maybe 600 shots for the fire department. So with inflation and the cost of everything rising, shipping, everything else, we probably would drop down to about 300 in today's dollars. If it wasn't for a couple of corporate citizens in this room that have donated to our fire department budget and just about everything else the fire department does, we wouldn't have had much of a show. Hope this clears up the fire department budget. My colleague is going to speak on where the fire department funds go from 50/50s and 100s.
Tom Steele, 423 Hamilton Road, Deputy Chief of the Fire Department. I'm a member of many of the community committees, Canada Day, Foot Bank Drive, Amphitheater, Parade of Lights. I grew up on Court Street. Right beside my house was the fire department until 1972, when the new building was built. My playground was the fire department. My grandfather was a firefighter for 40 years and retired as chief of the fire department in 1963. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I attended fire department meetings. I sat in on them. I was welcome. I lived at the fire hall. I attended fires with the firemen. Stayed in the truck out of the way. When they started the junior fire department, myself and many other young people joined the junior fire department. We were trained the same as firefighters. We heard what went on. We helped them with fundraising back then, as I do right now with my department. I just want to do, I know it's going to make last more than a few minutes. I just want to go through a few things that maybe we should have talked about during our 150th, which just happened 2 years ago. Back in 1963, there was one fire engine, the old 48. We also had an ambulance. The ambulance was donated to the fire department by the Rotary Club of Westville. In 1964, they purchased an old oil truck, made it into a fire truck, 1,100 gallons. In 65, they bought, the members, and everything I'm talking here be members unless I say it's the town, bought 4 SCBA packs. Before that, they're using the minor rebreathers, because a lot of our firefighters were miners. So they would go into the fire with a rebreather on from the pit. Back in around 67, they needed a truck to haul these things in, so they got an old milk truck. And if anybody remembers the door-to-door delivery, we bought an old milk truck, painted it red, and that was our auxiliary truck. In 1968, the members bought a chassis for this old S-Oil truck, brand new chassis. They went down to Danny Stewart's garage and they put the thing together. 72, and the new building is being built, and the fire department was a part of that, and they agreed to outfit the whole auditorium, kitchen facilities, chairs, tables, whatever. And around the same time, 1972, the town received a letter from the fire underwriters. The old 48 truck wasn't going to make it anymore. All fire trucks have to be certified and up to standard for the underwriters, so the truck had to be replaced. Within a year or so, a truck arrived, purchased by the town, 640 gallons per minute, 500 tank. 72, the members got rid of the old milk truck and bought a cube van and outfitted that to be a fire truck. 1973, the truck with the old pumper was bought, the new pumper. 1977, Westville started into the rescue business. The call was up on Matheson Street. It was a child was stuck in a culvert. So who are they going to call? They call the fire department. We got there. We had no tools for that, but we had to improvise. Our members went back to their workplaces, got acetylene, got pry bars, got whatever it took, got that child out. So that was the start of the rescue business. In 1978, the tank truck was sent down to the valley to be refitted with a new tank and compartments. It's not a certified fire truck, but it did the job. Around 1978 also, the request went into the town to help outfit, purchase a unit to be the rescue truck. And as it was stated, I was at that meeting, that the town is only responsible for fire protection, and if we want to get into the rescue business, we would have to buy the equipment ourselves, but the town would maintain it. And that's a policy that still goes on today. Everything we see in that rescue unit is purchased by the members through help from the citizens. This truck also contained some basic hydraulic tools. It wasn't the Jaws of Life. We ended up buying 3 sets since then. The Pictou County Firefighter Association purchased the Jaws of hydraulic tools, and we're the only rescue unit in the whole county to go around and get people out of vehicles. In 1978, the Westville Rink Commission decided not to run Canada Day. The thing was done. It started in Westville in 1907. Then it was carried on by the community club. It was the athletic association. Then it went to the community club in the 50s. And then they were going to walk away from it. There was a lot of work. Our members decided to take it on, and we still do it. 1980, we obtained a grant to extend the fire department. That's why it sticks out 3 bays out farther from the rest. Members went and renovated the upstairs after the assessment hall moved out. That was 81. We needed a new rescue truck. The van wasn't cutting it, so they bought a former vending machine truck and outfitted that to the rescue unit. 86, it was time to get rid of that tanker and get a proper pumper, certified. And I was at that meeting too, and it was a heated discussion with council in camera. And finally, at the end of it, Mayor Duggan said, order the truck. In 86, the same year, we purchased a new auxiliary truck, the members did. Store SCBA and also put all our gear. At one time, we carried all our coats in the back of our car. 86, the members held suppers, breakfasts, walkathons, support the Aberdeen Hospital Foundation, donated over $10,000. 88, purchased first set of Jaws, $26,000. The town purchased a new fire truck in 1995, 1050 pumper. The old truck was sold to West River. We started the chicken barbecue in 1996. We started to celebrate the festive season in 1998 with a parade of lights, which continues. Year 2000, members purchased a former Dortz ambulance to be used as a rescue truck. The old rescue truck was donated to Pictou Ground Search and Rescue. And to add to that, just in the last month, we donated again to Pictou Ground Search and Rescue our propane flat grill for them to use on the many calls they're getting these days. 2003, members purchased a chassis for the rescue unit. The chief and deputy chief signed for the loan themselves personally. 2004, members purchased second set of Jaws, $32,000. Price is going up. In 2006, the town purchased Tanker 21. 2010, first show and shine started. 2014, town purchased a new auxiliary truck. Now things start taking off. There's more fundraising available to the fire department. Members approved the design and purchase of street banners in regards to Canada Day. They go up every year and they've been added to. Approximate cost to date is $4,500. 2017, members approved the purchase of industrial washing machine for turnout gear, $5,347. And just to add to that, we took a moment of silence for the fallen firefighters. There was one announced this afternoon, a young firefighter from Kentville died of cancer, a fire-related cancer. And that's why we clean our gear. And that's why every year they're sent away. The toxins of the fire absorbs into your gear. And when you put it on next, you start sweating, you absorb that through your body. It's there's money available for people that have cancer, and there's been a battle with the fire service to get that, but still people die. 2017, members approve donation to the Rotary Club Splash Park, $2,800. 2019, getting to the Victoria's Field here, members return the Legion Field to operational condition while Victoria Park is out of service. We didn't want the kids to be without something in case they had Pioneer, but if they were going to use this for practice, they could go down to the Legion Field. 2019, members organized the field upgrade to Victoria Park. The request for permission was to undertake this was made in September 25, but was not approved to February 2026. In-kind support from Pictou County businesses, $80,000. Additional $35,000 was paid out by the members to top coat with gravel. 2019, we partnered with another group to run the annual truck pull. We're into 2020. Members approved the purchase of new to us air compressors to fill SCBA bottles, our air packs. We used to have to go to Michelin, New Glasgow, or Stelden after a fire to fill our bottles. So if it's 4 o'clock in the morning, we're phoning up somebody at Stelden, getting them out of bed to help us. So we bought a new compressor, a new to us compressor. It came from Berwick. 2021, members approved the purchase of a new to us rescue truck. It came from Syracuse, New York. It was sent here, cost had to be some work done to it, $46,000. 2022, members approved the purchase of new Jaws of Life, $59,000. Just in the last Christmas time, we donated the old set to a fire department called Little Harbor, an area fire department in Shelburne County. They had nothing, and they're 20 or so minutes away from the closest fire department. Time's of the essence. We donated to them. 2022, members funded the restoration of the 48 truck over 3 years. Again, to the help of Rhonda and Andre from Maricapol. Donated the money to get the truck here. Members put in hundreds and hundreds of hours to get that truck restored. Members approved the purchase of station uniforms. This is station uniform, $5,500. Members repurchased SCBA bottles. Our bottles, some of them were getting 20 years old. They're tested all the time, but there's cracks were found, so we replaced them, numbered them, $15,921. We get called to people's houses. I think there's gas. I think there's this. We didn't have a gas meter detection. We would have to call New Glasgow Hazmat in. We purchased that, $1,400. Members approved the purchase of hand lights, so that everyone had their own hand light responsible LED on their turnout gear, $4,788. Members approved the purchase of 98 flag poles and Canadian flags in the main street that everyone likes seeing up there. We did ask the town for some assistance on that, but we were turned down. $10,000. 2023, members agreed to fund the 5-month shortfall of the children's meal program at Walter Duggan School. It fell through the cracks. And I worked up there part-time with the kids there and seeing how important it was. Went back to the department and said, hey, let's do that. And they asked for 1 month, we gave them 5 months. We looked after it. Now the province looks after that. That's a good thing. Kids need stuff to eat. Around the same time, we got the most strangest request, but it was heartbreaking. Members agreed to a request from Schools Plus. Some people remember Schools Plus is the people that help the Food for Focus program to get the stuff out to the needy families on the weekends that require help. They had a student that needed immediate psychological counseling, and he was falling through the cracks. You know what it comes up to in mental health around the province at times. So we paid to get him treatment, $800. Hopefully it worked out. Members approved the purchase of dress uniforms, $12,500. That we wear different events, funeral homes, banquets, Remembrance Day service. 2024, town purchases new pumper, state-of-the-art pumper, freight truck. Trucks last, usually try to get 20, 25 years out of them, then the underwriters won't certify them. And then there could be issues. There might be many miles, but there's a lot of pump hours on it. 2024, members approved the purchase of outdoor electronic sign, the messages for recreation, for the fire department, safety messages go on, $12,750. 2024 also, this is all 2024, painting at the fire station, $11,500. It hadn't been painted in 25, 30 years. We decided we wanted a nice station, we wanted to be proud of her station. We were proud of her trucks, proud of her station. We paid for refinishing of the floor, $25,500. We decided to establish a firefighter tribute pole banner program, this in conjunction with the 150. Members applied for and got 50% funding to build an outdoor amphitheater. Total cost $198,000. Balance of funds came from the department, in kind from the town, plus donations or preferred pricing from suppliers. Money's paid out by the members, $64,000. 2025, members approved the purchase of 4 TMR radios, $11,500. We all have portables. TMR radios let us talk to anywhere in Nova Scotia. Everybody but military. Life Flight we can talk to. We can talk to any fire department, any police department, public, highways. Different events for a fire, instead of us all chattering on the same, we set up different channels. So there's one for fire ground, one for tankers, one for whatever. It's complicated, but it works. Communication is what you need in any first response. Then we're getting down here, guys. Code 4 stabilizers. If you have a trench that's going to cave in, you got to stabilize it. If you have a building that collapses and we got to send people in, we got to put stretch underneath to stabilize it. We purchased that, $6,300. We approved the purchase of new grandstands for use at the amphitheater in Pioneer Park, $8,500. Members established a long-term Canadian Day Midway solution with East Coast Amusement. They're going to be here this year. We're really fortunate. Last year, Sean and a few other ones worked in getting Pipkin County Carnival in, and certainly we're glad at that, but now we're moving back to a bigger day for Westville to have them in around. Just Right going on this week. Members approved a while ago, and right now the install of a standby generator is going into the fire hall to give us power to our radio systems, power to our doors, so we don't have to manually try to put them up. They're big doors. It takes time. Time's of the essence. Cost is approximately $15,000. Just this past March, our department formed a committee to develop a 3- and 5-year strategic plan as to where the department is heading. It will include what it sees required from the town and what the department may wish to undertake itself. It's an important group with a very strong mandate. As you can see from the list of projects, we have contributed greatly for the town of Westville. Not listed are many individual pieces of firefighting equipment that we have purchased with, under the service provider grant, where it's so much on the dollar, where they give us 20, and one time we had to pay 10. We never went to council and asked for the 10. We've got the money raised and put it. Right now, it's up to $30,000, and we just finished getting the last piece of equipment. Members past and present have worked hard to carry out projects which have increased the value in town assets and saved taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. A number of these projects should, maybe sometimes a number of these projects shouldn't have fallen to the department, but the agreement from town council of the day to fund the items that Chief Dunn spoke about, it's more that you keep your word and we'll do our best to carry the rest of the load. I was once asked, why does your department do so much in the community in relation to the events and celebrations? I didn't have to think long. When you need a firefighter, it's usually one of the worst days of your life. Be it a fire at your home, a medical situation at your workplace, or an accident on the highway. We aren't immune to the stress and damage these events do to our bodies and minds. We like having fun. We like seeing the smiling faces of the kids along the parade routes, and yes, the wells of all those young and old who just watched the grand finale of the Canada Day or Christmas fireworks show. Now our group is at the crossroads. Do items, especially in regards to building infrastructure and non-rescue expense, be looked at to our duty to fund? With a new provincial legislation on the book in regards to the fire service in Nova Scotia, we're told it will make fire departments less responsible to fund for their own equipment. And that service that the citizens of the community should expect. We'll see where that goes. We do continue to take on, or also do we continue to take hundreds of hours away from our families to provide the community atmosphere that Westville is known for. Westville Canada Day is a goal for this year. And I expect the department will be reviewing each function separately as we go forward. I hope all events will carry on as usual, but we'll wait and see. for those that support us with the events or purchase a 50/50 ticket that made the majority of these purchases I spoke about happen. We thank you. Coming up in our meeting, Sarah mentioned there's one meeting this week for the fire department, and a counselor always attends our meetings ever since day one. Sarah, was her dad, did it for a while. Charlie Sutherland did it for a long time. There's always the counselor there to see what we're doing, how we're spending our money, and they come back hopefully to council and tell them that. This past, our monthly meetings this week, I was putting together some prices to landscape the amphitheater. So to get some grass there, get stuff done. You know, I don't know if it's gonna be a tough sell or not. I hope not. This past week made us realize that we do, that, you know, we had a crack in our foundation. The budget's been approved, it's been painted over, and hopefully that crack would disappear. I know it's, we work hard to do our best and honor our commitments. I hope the future is successful for the town, and I hope it's successful for the department. My time as a firefighter here is winding down. I got about 6 months, 7 months left, and I'll be retiring. There'll be new leadership in the fire department, maybe new direction, new ideas, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Tom. We appreciate everything that you do individually regarding Canada Day, and we appreciate all the members. We say it I say it every opportunity I get, and I want you to all to know that I don't say them just because it sounds like the right thing to say. When I say it, I mean it. I mean it from my heart, and I think I speak. I don't think I know. I speak on all residents when I say those things as well. Without you guys in the department, I've said it before, the town would not be the same. It would not have the character that it has. It would not have the celebration that it has. It would not have a lot of the things that you enumerated, you know, Tom, in your list of things that you've done and been able to do as a department. And we definitely appreciate and acknowledge that. And I think, you know, going forward, hopefully we can continue to have discussion between the department and members of council and council as a whole to work together. I don't see any, you know, there's no us and them in this conversation. Let me say that we are all in this together as a community, and I want to emphasize that. I said it before. I'll say it again. There's never any of that involved. We support everything that the department does, and we'll continue to do that and in any way that we can moving forward. You know, the department predates the town. So, you know, the department, there was a fire department in this town, fire brigade, before there was a town, officially a town. So we acknowledge the history. The history is important, and I'm glad that you had an opportunity, Tom, to go through some of those highlights of the history of this department. Yes, and it's unfortunate we didn't get a chance at a meeting like this during the 150th to do it, but hey, better late than never, right? Very significant chronological sort of report from, you know, the starting of the department to where we are today, and the hundreds of individuals who contributed countless hours and time. And I can say the other thing that these events of the last week, with the passing of several members, you know, in other departments and so on, bring it home that this is a possibility in our community as well, with each member, that something untoward will happen in the line of their duty, and that should concern all of us, and it does. Safety is the utmost importance. And the other thing that I think about is what you all have experienced in your line of duty, both in fires and probably more so even in rescue matters. I hope that you have those discussions amongst yourself. I hope you have help available to deal with those things, because it's a thing that can eat away at individuals without you even knowing it, perhaps. But you've all experienced very traumatic events in the line of volunteering for this town. And I want to emphasize, if I can say anything at all, in the matter of advice to you as a department, as individuals. You know, this manning up thing, this is 2026. We don't need to go there anymore. If you're feeling the effects of some of the things that you've experienced and done, please speak out, please seek help. I know that as a town, if there's anything that's required in that, we'd be more than willing to offer our support and encouragement. So that's one issue we don't talk about a lot, and I think the events of the last week perhaps bring that home more to us. So please think about that. Please leave here knowing that you have the support of this council. I don't think, you know, and we want to see you being successful, and we want to see you continuing to do the great work that you do in this town. It's not just words to say that we would not be the same without the work that the department does. I mean, like I said before, I think I speak for everyone when I say that around this table.
Sherry McLeod, 2598 Pickens Street. Just curious as to when the tax rate is going to be happening and taking place, and is it going to be retro?
No, it's not retro. No, it's not retro. It's for this year. It's for 2026.
Okay, so.
I guess it is retro in that respect, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're past January, yeah.
We're past January,
Yeah.
so for the bills that are due Friday, they're based on the old 2.13.
We'll let Kristen.
So the way it will work is the amount that is currently due will remain being due.
Yep.
However, there will be an adjustment done on the final tax so that it will balance out to the full amount that is under the new rate.
Which I assumed, but I just
So
wanted to
you'll
hear
be
it.
overpaying your interim
Yeah.
and need
Yeah.
to pay a little less at the final.
Right.
Perfect, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for that. Good question. I hadn't thought about that, to be honest with you.
Hi, Rhonda Couillas from 1861 Campbell's Road, Yakupol, Westville. One question, parking downtown. You guys are concentrating on bringing business downtown. You know where the parking lot is? So I sort of disagree on this.
Disagree in what respect?
Well, that we're trying to get everybody downtown instead of we got a beautiful park. Why are we not concentrating on the park? We're concentrating, we've got parking over there, we got lots of room. We don't have a lot of room downtown,
Parking-wise.
parking-wise. Yeah, there's no parking.
Well, yeah.
There's none. My parking lot's full all the time.
Yes, I realize that. I think what'll happen is that when the development starts happening, when the downtown core, Main Street, where you are,
Yes.
when that starts redeveloping, I'm going to say, because I firmly believe this is going to happen in the near future, you know, that's one of the, every time that a new business will come in and look at establishing a building on Main Street, on those vacant lots particularly that exist, one of the things that will be required in the development agreement will be adequate parking provided for those businesses. So, you know, they'll each have their individual parking requirement. And yeah, it's not lost on us that's, but I think it will work out. I'm quite sure that it'll work out. If you have to post signs saying, you know, for customers
I don't
only.
wanna do
I know
that.
you don't.
That's
I know.
not-
Right.
It shouldn't be done like that.
No.
It should be thought of
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, good point.
Okay.
Good point. You know, I want Kennedy one to say that I'm not, I'm a glass half full, but I'm not naive to think that there's not going to be pain with development, okay? And that's why I was saying, by the way, for a long time, get ready, Westville, change is coming. Like, you know, things are happening. Because, you know, there's always a little bit of pain with increase in development. But, you know, hopefully with increase in development, we can maintain a low tax rate going forward.
I must be the shortest person up here. And just for public knowledge, I'm the counselor, the former counselor who our mayor gave a lump of coal to one Christmas. So I don't know what that says about our relationship at that time, but I still treasure it. Just a couple of questions. When are we going to get our senior citizens? Do you have a date, a year?
Wow, good question.
Oh, knock it off.
It is, because it's timely. Because I asked, I mentioned before that I was at the State of the Province address today
Right.
and spoke with several people with knowledge on that matter. I am not at liberty to say a whole lot more than I'm a lot more optimistic that the time is getting much shorter
Right.
when that announcement's going to come.
But isn't it supposed to be 2026?
We're supposed to be open in 2028. Open.
Okay, so when are we going to?
It's going to be a hurry-up build, that's for sure. But, you know, they're ready. I mean, the companies that are, I think, I can't say too much, but I think I know who it's going to be, the proponent that's going to probably do it now. And and if it is who I think it is, I'm extremely excited. They're a tremendous company in my estimation, and they're ready to go. Like they are, as soon as the province officially, publicly announces, you know, Company A is the person or the group that we're awarding the tender to for the long-term care facility in Westville, they'll be ready to go in a moment's notice.
Well, anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the premier said 2026.
The announcement was made, yeah, that it would start probably,
Yeah.
yes, that's not
And
wrong.
do we have a site? Where is it going to be built?
We are thinking, and we proposed, and we did a public engagement session, and 90% or more indicated the location that we thought would be the most appropriate, and that's at the Highland School property, behind the current former school, I should say.
Oh, we won't be taking the school down, will we?
No.
Okay. My second concern is water. I had spoken to our CAO about that issue. And now with these proposed developments in Salt Springs and Marshdale, when we moved here in 1977, Middle River was our source of water. And why can't it be again? So I read.
Why can't it indeed?
Yeah, but just wait now. I read that effluent may be put into Middle River from one of these developments.
Yeah, I saw that as a concern myself, yes.
Yeah. So my question to council is, are you guys aware of this? Have you done anything about it? Have you discussed it? Can I say something? I mean, that's a valuable asset for us.
Councillor Dunn was at the meeting when and Councillor Fraser.
I will tell you that right now Trenton is trying their hardest to get that in their town. Because they already have everything there, all the pipes and everything else to go into Nova Scotia Power and stuff from there, right? So they're really trying to get them to put that there and not in Marshdale and Salt Springs, is what they're trying to do.
It would seem to make logic sense.
Exactly, because they've already got,
Okay.
like, all the piping
Yeah.
and all that stuff is already there for it.
Right.
So that's what they're really trying to get them to do. They're
Okay.
kind of bucking them a little bit on it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But, and that was another reason too, was the fact that if they did put those out there, what would it do to the Middle River?
Right.
Because it runs through there, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we were kind of like, yeah, let's put it in Trenton.
So please, I ask all of you to be aware of that and keep your ear to the ground and
absolutely.
protect that water source for us.
Absolutely.
If that's the case, I believe that would change the requirements for the environmental assessment, that would change things. I
Okay.
understand
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's what we're hoping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I read about it, I read in the Pictou Advocate, so, you
Yeah.
know, apparently it has been discussed.
Yep.
And who can attend an in-camera session?
Beg your pardon?
Who can attend an in-camera session?
Who can attend?
Yes.
Council, obviously, right?
Can somebody outside council attend?
If they're presenting, if it's a matter of them presenting to council, yes. Yes.
Oh, wouldn't that come to the committee of the whole?
If it's a matter that doesn't qualify as in camera, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
But you know,
aware.
I'll give a quick example.
Okay.
If a developer, let's say, has a concept, has an idea that they want to propose to town, to planning advisory, but you know, these are companies that like to keep things quiet until they actually have approval and know what they're doing. So that might be one example where they'd want to meet with planning advisory in camera or council in camera. If there's someone that's speaking to us regarding contract negotiations or whatever, that's probably going to be in camera. So it's going to be someone outside of the council itself
Okay.
that's involved in the
But
meeting.
for that specific reason.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there has to be a reason.
Confidentiality of a business
Yeah.
transaction, right. And I can't go without saying this, Mayor White, in lieu of my
Lump of coal?
I'm disappointed in you tonight that you shut down democracy. There's a lot of support in this room, I think, for the Westville Fire Department. And the things that Chief Dunn and Deputy Chief Steele have told us about the operations of the fire department. I sat on, as a rep for council on that fire department committee, and I had no idea that the extent of what they do. So I think if people came here in support of the fire department, they should have been allowed to speak.
My point. I don't consider it to be perfect in all respects. I make mistakes, but I don't think, I will go back to that. I will say that my point was, let's not belabor things that have already been decided upon. Let's not rehash and belabor things when there's no need to. The council has made a decision with regard to, the point was with regard to that $12,000. Let's call it what it was. Let's talk about it. That was decided. You all saw that. There was a motion made, it was passed. So
Your
no
Worship,
point-
if I may, please.
Yeah.
We know I'm enemy number one in the room tonight, so let's just discuss what is in the room tonight. My disagreement was simply a $12,000 increase to the firework budget itself. If you want to blow up $25,000 into the sky, I'm allowed to have the opinion that that's excessive. I am a taxpayer as well as a counselor. So all I was saying was that the $12,000 should not be solely added to fireworks. I suggested a different event. Other counselors suggested a different event. This has turned into me not appreciating the fire department, and I can tell you 100% that is not true. I appreciate you, I respect you, and I've bragged about the fireworks since I moved here. I have told everybody that the fireworks are the best I've ever seen in my life. So you guys all attacking me because you think I'm somehow against you couldn't be further from the truth. I respect you greatly. Thank you for your words, but I am the enemy here tonight. So what I'm saying is it was taken out of context. And if we can have a discussion about $12,000 instead of going back to 1960, because none of that matters at this meeting right now.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, all I was saying was not to add $12,000 into the sky. That's it. How do we get to the point where you think I don't care what you did in 1960?
So I'm just gonna call, come forward. Come forward.
Councillor has opened it up, and you've allowed it.
I'm gonna shut it down though, again, so.
Excuse me. Excuse me, you've already done that once.
No.
My name is Ross McIntosh. I'm from 2118 Foxbrook Road. A long time, my whole life. You allowed the councillor to open it up, to give her opinion. These people have all come here with their opinion, and you shut them down, but you allowed her to. So I believe, as voters, we get the right to voice that opinion as well.
Absolutely.
Do you, whether the fire department, I am a retired member, so please, I apologize to my brothers, my sisters. I am talking as a taxpayer, and I'm pretty wound up, and you guys know me, I don't get wound up that often. I don't care if it's for fireworks or for bubble gum. If these gentlemen decide that's what it is, that's what it's for.
That's exactly what we told them. That's exactly what I told Tom when I met with him. You decide what you want to do with it.
Well, since I was bold enough, Madam Councillor was bold enough, I believe it should be opened up for everybody else.
I see no point to it, but if that's the will of the public, that's the will of the public.
Sorry, Keith McKay from 2165 Queen Street. First of all, as a citizen of Westville, I want to thank our firefighters here today. I get the benefit of going to bed at night in my own bed. I don't get woken up by a fire alarm. I don't get woken up because there's a car accident. I don't get woken up because somebody's missing in my community. I sleep. And the people that I'm looking at here tonight don't do that. They've all taken their time tonight to be here. When they have jobs, they have families, they have other commitments, but they came here because they love their town. And I respect that. So thank you very much. As a citizen of the town of Westville, I want to extend my appreciation for what you've done. Mrs.
Thank
Fraser,
you.
or Ms. Fraser, I just want to clarify a point. I wasn't disagreeing with you and your position that $27,000 was irrational. What I did not agree with was your comment that you were voting no. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't see at any point when any councillor on this committee actually asked the citizens, are you guys okay with an additional $12,000 for fireworks? What I read, and maybe I misinterpreted it, I read, I am voting no if it comes to a motion. As a citizen of this town, I believe in a democracy, which, thank you for bringing that up. We do live in a democracy, so a democracy usually means that everybody's opinion matters. I respect you have a personal opinion. You are entitled to share that. But as my counselor, I would ask respectfully that when you make a decision on a vote, that you would take into consideration the taxpayers. We all pay, our money all goes to the fire department, and as we as taxpayers want to give $12,000 to the fire department for their use, that's what we as taxpayers have asked for. I 100% respect your opinion. What I don't respect is not being asked. And I feel that there was lots of things posted on Facebook about people misunderstanding. I think it flips back the other way. I don't think you heard what the residents were saying to you guys. We weren't saying that we wanted the best fireworks display in all of Canada, that we wanted $27,000 spent on fireworks. We said we want a voice. We want our fire department to have their money. There's not very many towns and communities in this country that have the fire departments that spend as much time, money, and energy to do something like this. And it's shameful that we, as a community, would even consider $12,000 being too much to give, regardless of what they choose for. So what I'm asking here tonight is my elected officials to do what you were elected to do. Don't make decisions based on what you feel. Make decisions based on what your constituents voted you for. Every one of you probably came to my door, asked for my vote, said you're going to represent me. I've not seen any of you at my door since. We have open forums. There's opportunities. If things like this come forward in the future, I respectfully ask your constituents. Don't make assumptions. Be respectful and appreciate democracy. As much as awful things were said by people to you, and I apologize because I do not agree with that. It is unfortunate that you and your family felt attacked, but I can honestly say I read comments coming out that were equally as disappointing and unrespectful as well. So respect is a two-way street. It doesn't run one way, it works both ways. So I'm getting worked up as well because I'm very passionate about this. I love my community, and it's unfortunate that it took this to bring everybody out tonight. But this makes me proud that I live in a community where people stand behind the people that get up day and night to protect us. I hope I never have to see one of these guys or ladies at my house because it means something bad has happened. And the fact that we're all standing here tonight, I hope shows you guys that we support you. And that as taxpayers, we will stand behind you, whether it's for $1 or for $12,000. And I hope each one of you here tonight has taken something away from this. That you see that your citizens care. That your citizens want to have a voice, and as an elected official, you take your responsibilities serious. And that although you have your personal opinion, you remember that it's a personal opinion. Your position in this thing does not allow you to make a decision for the town based on your personal feelings. If that's what you choose to do, then I'm respectfully asking you to step away, because that's not what I want. That's not what I elected you to do. I elected you to represent me and my fellow citizens of the town of Westville. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so, yeah, we do that. We have public engagement sessions on important matters. We have public hearings. We have sessions that we're not even mandated to have under the Municipal Governments Act when it comes to development and so on. We put it out. We ask citizens to come forward and give us your opinion. I've said it before. There's 5 of us here. We don't propose to know everything about everything going on in town or needs to go on in town. We need it. We need that input. I mean that sincerely. My comments about, restricting the comments and thing was, I'll go back to it. The decision has been made by council. I see no point in rehashing that. We made a decision to move forward, and we're going to do that. If that doesn't sit with you, I apologize for that. I believe strongly in democracy. We have a very democratic system here. By virtue of just the engagement session that we're having here for the last hour, that's democracy in action. And I'll tell you, I said it before, check around the province. Google some of these other towns and check their agendas. See if they allow for public engagement. Quite the contrary. They do not. They do not, and we do, and we welcome it. The only reason, and I welcome it, I try to be as accessible as possible as your mayor. I have an open door to my office downstairs. I see anybody at any time convenient to both of us, hopefully. And I know council is of the same mind. We welcome it. We really seriously do. There's not just words. It's the way we think and the way we want to represent you. Going to in all due respect, though, it's sometimes impossible to go on every matter that comes before council and poll the community. That's not how our system of government works, unfortunately, or fortunately. But we do rely on outside advice and information. In fact, this council, when first elected, one of the first things we did, it's on the wall over there, by the way, we all signed it. We all signed sort of basically a pledge that on any decision we make as a council, we will rely on good information, expert advice when required before making a decision. And that's the way we chose to operate. So that involves hearing from the public. We can't go around and knock on every door and ask on every matter, but we can certainly, on matters of importance, we can certainly call for public engagement, and we'll be doing that in the year to come. We'll be doing that, so just look for it. We'll be looking for your ideas on a lot of things that are coming to town and need to come to town and shape the future. And I know when our new CAO comes, that's going to be one of the priorities is setting out that strategic plan for the town for the next 5 years or so. So, it wasn't my point to shut down the conversation, let me put it that way. And I apologize for that if that's the way it was read. I simply wanted to say, can we move on? Can we just agree to move on positively together and support our fire department? This council supports the fire department. I'm speaking on behalf of council, and I know they all say the same thing. We wholeheartedly support everything the department does. We respect them. We appreciate everything that's being done, and that's the point. So my point was, let's not go down the rabbit hole to negativity and causing more harm than good. The headline coming out of tonight, and I'm looking at John over here from the press. I said this. My hope was that the headline coming out of this tonight, out of our meeting tonight, was the budget. And the fact that we've lowered the tax rate in the town of Westville. Look around the province and see how many communities are lowering their tax rate. Most of them are raising them. So that was I was hoping that was going to be the headline, and I hope it still is, because that's positive news, right?
Roger McKay, 2380 Church Street, and I'm going to change it around a little, but I appreciate what everyone said here tonight about our great fire department. But I want to go back to last meeting, and when we were talking about development, and this development was on Cowan Street, so I personally want to apologize to Councillor Fraser, Councillor Dunn, Deputy Mayor McGregor, and Councillor McKinnon. You guys actually weren't part of that development that we were looking at, so I apologize for kind of putting you guys in that group when I spoke about it.
I was called upon to chair many meetings as deputy mayor during that course of that action. I recall it very well. A room similar to this. Anything else?
My name is Janie Gordon. I live in 1764 Jerry Lane. Since the co-op housing has cut out of the high school, now what is persisting with the high school?
The high school, former high school?
Yeah.
We have a new proponent that's taking over that development. It's going to be developing the school into apartments.
Is it going to be like the same as 64 apartments?
Don't know that yet, to be honest with you. That's the detail that we're waiting to work out.
So is the company like a sure guarantee that they're going to do it this time?
Absolutely. Good question, by the way. Anything else? Look, thank you. Seriously, thank you all for coming. Sorry, Gordy, go ahead. Nothing to do with nothing.
Could we have our firemen, as they're leaving, introduce themselves? Because I know most of them, but some people here say, who's that fellow beside Dooley? I don't know him. Or who's that fellow up there beside Ricky? You know. So if they could let people know who they are. I don't need a whole life story, just I am. You even dance for Black River.
Thank you, Gordy. By the way, Gordy's one of our regular attendees. He attends most, if not all, council meetings. We appreciate it. He and a group of others, I think I just saw Dave Dignan leaving. He's another one. I call them the loyal opposition because, in municipal government, you don't have an opposition, but, they can perform that role as all of you can. We need input. So thank you. Anyone else? So we're gonna have a sound off, and you're gonna sound off by saying who you are, I guess, apparently, right? Great idea, Gordy.
Andy Nunn, Fire Chief, Town of Westville.
Tom Steele, Deputy Fire Chief, Town of Westville.
Bill Jason, West Florida.
Step forward, guys.
David Mayer, firefighter, Westville Fire Department. Jason McKenzie, firefighter, Rivers. 19, firefighter, Westville. Charles Mitchell, firefighter, Westville. Travis McNamara, firefighter, Westville. Freddie Murphy, firefighter, Treasury. David Lynn, Westville Fire.
Rick Ferguson, Safety Officer, Westville Fire Department. Alan Morris, Westville Fire Department.
John McLaughlin, Lieutenant, Westville Fire. Evan Dooley, a proud firefighter, Westville.
Here, here. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you coming and appreciate everything that you do for the town. Next meeting, by the way, will be, what do we got going on here, Kristen? I lost my agenda.
It's the 29th of June is our next council meeting.
29th of June is our next council meeting. Thank you. 29th of June. We'll see you back there then. So, motion to adjourn. I think we're done.